Hello, welcome back to my channel. Back with Matteus again. Matteus, how are you?
I'm not too bad, my bro. I'm not too bad.
Not too
Just
bad.
chilling. Yeah, just chilling. Got it. I'm off work for a couple of weeks now, so just chilling at home
Easter
now.
holiday.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
not even
always.
Easter holiday. I just said I just need. I had to take a couple of weeks off.
I see.
I just need a bit of rest. To be fair, mate.
Yeah, sometimes you need rest, and I needed rest too, bro. Uni do be going mad sometimes. Anyhow,
Yeah.
so Everton game coming up, and I've actually gone through the games on Blue Friday's show, all the games left. Everton game, it's not actually that important. Like, I want to win, of course, but if you actually look at it, I put in a draw for that Everton game, which I think it will be. I think it will be very boring, that game. But points-wise,
Wow.
Everton game is not very important, because if you look at the other games, if we get our results where we should be top 5 anyhow. But then we need to beat other teams, and I always think it's better to just win every game, isn't it?
Yeah.
This game, Everton, is very good, very informed, especially at Goodison Park. On the road, they're not as good. They beat Forest, of course, but at Goodison Park, they're very difficult to beat, and they are well set up defensively. Deep block, good at countering, that's pretty much what we struggle with all season long. Pretty much every time it's what we struggle with. What do you think are our chances against Everton? How likely do you think it is we win? Because I actually think we'll just have a boring draw. Boring game, boring draw.
Yeah. No, I heard you, but first and foremost, we have to win that game. For the simple fact that it's Everton. Goodison Park is always a tough match. I've been to Goodison Park a few times, and I'm going to Goodison Park.
I've never been there, by the way.
Because it's the last game at Goodison Park, so I'll be there. And it's a ground that I like it. Funny enough, my mum was Evertonian, so I've got to get a connection with Everton, and I like going to Goodison Park. I'll be there for the last game. But we have to win, and as I say, it's always tough when we go to Goodison. But I think I can see the improvements in the team now, where we, compared to where we were before, I feel like we're playing much better. There's certain parts in games where we're struggling, which is fine. However, if you compare to where we were a few weeks ago, a few months ago, we were struggling like majority of the game. Sometimes we were struggling for the whole half. But now, it seems like we only struggle for 20-25 minutes, and then we regain composure. And that DNA of coming back from even being behind, we start seeing from Man City. We went to Bournemouth, we were 1-0 down, we were struggling a little bit. Then after 25 minutes, we just controlled the game. We scored the equaliser, and we came back from the game. After that, Bournemouth couldn't do anything really. It was just total domination from Man City. So against Palace as well, the first 10-15 minutes, Palace were at it. They scored a couple of goals, but after we pulled one back, it was just Man City. Even in the second half, Palace couldn't do anything with the ball. So there's certain improvements in terms of how, even being a goal behind, we're not panicking, or even a couple of goals behind. Because if you remember, months ago, even we were 1-0 up, if the opposition scored the equaliser, we start panicking.
We could be 2 goals up, and we concede. We would have started panicking.
Yeah,
like the PSG game, for example.
Yeah. It's like the team is just looking all over the place, but the team looks more calm now. I feel like they're going to the games with the mindset that they will concede. Is how they manage the game, stay in the game, even if they concede 1 or 2, just stay in the game. So
you think De Bruyne's leadership, you think De Bruyne being on the pitch helps with that as well, because obviously
of course,
experience as well.
Yeah, not just De Bruyne, even Ilkay Gundogan as well. It's just being that presence. It's been really important, and I feel like the defense is being more stable in a way. Just having moving Josko Vardy from left back into the centre back, where I feel like he looks really comfortable in that position. Well, you all know my opinion on Josko Vardy. I just feel like he was supposed to play left back, but It's been really impressive the past few games as centre half. I've seen him playing centre half against Bournemouth at the beginning of the season. Well, the first half of the season, we look all over the place. Even against Brighton, he look all over the place. To be fair, but against Brighton, I think
at the start of the season, everything was just going wrong for the Man City.
Yeah. Listen, he had Sims abusing and fucking Rico Lewis next to him, so it's one of them, innit?
Yeah.
I just feel like Everton have got nothing to play for. First and foremost, I don't think they're getting relegated now. I think they're 14th on the table.
They're like 12 points clear of the relegation. So
They're probably more. Yeah. So I feel like they're
17 points clear of relegation.
Yeah, even if you see the way Everton are playing, they go into games even more relaxed. It's not like they've got pressure to stay up.
No, but it's not because they're not playing anymore for the pressure of staying up. It's because it's the end of Goodison Park. That's why they play so well at Goodison Park, and on the road they're kind of dead.
Not just that. They went to Forest and they beat them.
Yeah, that too. But
do you know what I mean?
That's just one game where they played well.
But just having that feeling that you're not fighting for relegation this time of the season. If you compare the last 2 seasons, where this time where he was like, they start shaking, they're like, we're going down. But now even the fans as well, they're approaching the game right, okay, quite relaxed, we're in a good position, we're moving stadium, everyone is excited going to the new season, let's just have fun, let's just go and have a go. And I feel like they're going to have a go mindset and set the stage of the game. So it's just how we manage that. And I think we get the 3 points, don't get me wrong. And it's also good preparation for Villa. Oh no, not Villa. Forest in the semi-final, which is, I think, is on the 27th.
It's the 27th, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's the 27th because I had a look at my tickets.
Yeah, 27th at 5:30.
Yeah. Because I was trying to get in, trying to book in the train tickets to London. So we have to prepare for it. So I think we'll get the 3 points. I think we'll manage to win the game. It's not going to be easy, and don't get me wrong, there'll be a stage in that game where we're going to see the flash of the old seats of the first half of the season where we're going to struggle, but it is expected for us to struggle. So, but at the end of the day, if you get the 3 points, is the most important thing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I look as well at the team right now, and in the Bournemouth game, I think Bournemouth game we were good all game against Bournemouth, I think, but we missed so many chances in that game. Haaland missed so many chances.
He's been the history of our season, hasn't it? Remember even when we lost to Juventus, Haaland had a 1v1.
Yeah.
The first half, then Foden had another chance to score, we just couldn't score. Then they go on the other end and score 2. So
we've not been critical enough this season. It's all been on Haaland. Here's the thing, it's all been on Haaland, and everyone has a bad game sometimes. But like Haaland had a terrible game against Bournemouth. But the problem is, you need to be aware that Haaland is going to have a bad game at some point. When he has a bad game, no one else scores. Now we have Matteus scoring. But now he's...
You see the body language every time Marmoush is on the pitch. Even when Marmoush makes a run, he might miss the chance, but Haaland will be applauding because at least I've got someone in there who's making those runs. If I'm having a day off, at least someone there can score goals. That's why he always happy when Marmoush is there. You remember Brighton away in the beginning of the season where we lost 2-1. We 1-0 up. Savio had a 1v1 and they missed it. If that was like Mahrez, for example, it's 2-0 and the game is in control. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Savio
Douglas well. Douglas scored 3 goals, I believe, this season, which is better than previous seasons. But he's not doing
if you look at Haaland's reaction every time someone else scores, he celebrates like he scored a goal. Do you know what I mean?
Because Haaland needs that pressure off of him.
He feels like, okay, at least someone is scoring, I just can manage my own game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that Haaland being injured, by the way, has gotten De Bruyne back into the team because Marmoush and Foden were kind of playing. Foden, by the way, we'll talk about him in a second. Marmoush and Foden were kind of playing in left wing, attack midfield, rotating with each other, and De Bruyne wasn't getting into the team. I think De Bruyne is still someone who gets goals for us. Like, he doesn't do performances anymore. I mean, he was very good against Crystal Palace, but normally he doesn't really give us performances anymore, but he still gets some goals as well. I think having De Bruyne throughout the season would have helped us a bit as well, but what I am most happy to see going into the Everton game is O'Reilly as well, because O'Reilly, I don't think he's a fullback. I don't think his future is as a fullback, but he actually can defend.
Well, he said it after the Bournemouth game, because he got man of the match in that game.
Yeah.
And if you watch his interview, he said I'm more comfortable playing box to box, but if the manager's asking me to play left back out, I'll just have to step on the pitch and do the job. Yeah. Even Pat was asking in the press conference after the Palace game. He confirmed it. Yeah, his position is box to box, but at the moment we've got no left back. That's why we have to go into the summer and get a left back.
At last, we got a fullback. First fullback since
because if you watch the press conference, even in Bargo, he's not counting on John Stones and Ake anymore.
Yeah, I think Viana has probably. I don't know who has decided it, whether it's Viana, Tiki, Pep himself.
Yeah, I think Pep pulled the plug on that, because he said, if you look at the last few seasons, Stones and Ake have missed majority of the season in terms of just being injured. And I said to the club that we need to make a list of the players that we can rely on play every 3 days. And these are the players that we need to count on in the future. And I feel like obviously he won't come out in the press conference and say, oh, they need to go. But he gives a hint of, right, okay, Stones and Ake, we can't rely on them. John Stones played 18 games last season. The season before in the treble, he played, I think, 19 or 20 games. The season before the treble, the season before the treble, he played a similar amount of games. So he only plays half a season.
He's been injured for more games than he's played for Man City.
Yeah,
his entire Man City career.
We can't have a player, especially in the centre back areas, being out half season every single season, because that's one of the issues we've been facing at the defence. For a defence to work, we need to build a partnership in terms of the centre back. If you remember the season when we reached the Champions League final for the first time, it was John Stones, Ruben Dias, and Cancelo, and I think it was Zinchenko was playing in the Champions League.
Yes, Zinchenko, but
that was the back.
Was playing all over the place.
Yeah, that was the back four. So I think John Stones and Diaz was like literally the partnership going forward. But obviously, John Stones he can't stay fit. So we need to bring someone in there that it helps. It helps when you're playing the same person next to you, week in, week out. It helps. It brings that confidence. Even
it gets you chemistry. You understand each other.
Yeah, not just that. Even if you make a mistake or if you just out position, at least you've got someone in there that I trust this guy's going to cover. That's what John Stones in the used to be. But now, we didn't have this season. One week we had Ake come back fit, then Ake goes down after half an hour every single game. John Stones comes in. He comes in against Arsenal off the bench. He scored. He started the next game. He gets injured. We can't.
You know what we have now? Yeah, we've got Akanji coming back as well. By the way, is he back for that Everton game or when is Akanji back?
Akanji's coming back next week.
Next week, okay. So yeah, Akanji coming back as well. He's played on right back, of course, quite a few times. We can maybe talk about that in a minute, but throughout the season, when we've been best is when we had Stones and Ruben Dias together. That's when we've been best this season, because they just have a relationship together as centre back.
They understand each other.
Which is why it's such a shame that John Stones just can't stay fit. Because treble season, I mean, it was Stones, Dias. They were the first names on the team sheet almost, together with Haaland and De Bruyne. So these players, it's very unfortunate for me that they keep getting injured. But this is the thing here. We have to get them to move on. Because, okay, they're very good when they play. They don't play. That's the problem. Aki, I think, is an incredible defender. I don't think he gets respected enough. But he can't stay fit. So I hope he goes as well. Akanji, I'm not actually quite sure what we're going to do with him. I think he'll stay for another season, just because we can't get all three of them out of the window in a single window. But that defense, I'm not actually that worried about the defense. Get two fullbacks and we're good, because we've got Husanov, we've got Gvardiol, we've got Ruben Diaz, we've got Yuma Ba on loan right now, whether you believe he's 18 or not. And then we've got did I say Peter Hayes already? I'm not sure if I said it. But we've got plenty of centre backs. Full backs, you're muted.
I said we've got 9 centre backs at the football club.
9?
Yeah.
Stones. Okay.
We've got 3 injured.
Yeah.
In Diaz, John Stones and Ake.
Yeah.
Then you've got the partnership they're playing to now, which is we've got 3 injuries, but then you've got the 2 centre backs that are playing now, and then you've got Reyes. We've got Reyes, Bar, and you've got Simsapusi in there, and Kusanov. So that's 9 centre backs.
So centre backs we don't have a problem with. It's mainly the fullback area and the goalkeeper. We need a shot stopper.
Is the fullback position, even when during that run where we won 1 out of 13 games, and people say, "Oh, there's too many injured in centre and in the back and a defence," and people say, "Oh, we've got a centre back crisis in terms of injured," and I said, "Well, we don't really. What we do is we've got a crisis in the fullback position, and we've been having a crisis in fullback position for 2 seasons." The reason why people were saying that we've got crisis in the centre back area is because we're playing centre backs as a fullback. Because if we had even that time where players were getting injured, if we had a proper right back and a left back, then we would have no problem, because we could move Vardio into that defence with Akanji, which Akanji was fit.
Yeah.
And then you got the fullbacks and Vardio and Akanji. And that way, we would not need to rush back John Stones and Ake every single week to play 45 minutes each.
So, I agree. And I think a lot of the issue as well this season has been midfield, which, I mean, everyone talks about midfield, but Bernardo Silva in the midfield there, people praise him because he runs a lot. But you know what I say, yeah? Because if you look at the statistics of Bernardo Silva, how much he runs, he covered so much ground. But he runs for nothing, really. Like, he just runs. He doesn't accomplish anything by running. He'll win the ball back just 1 or 2 times. But when he does nothing with the ball. He passes it backwards. So Bernardo Silva has played all season because he runs a lot, but he's still doing nothing. He runs a lot, but he does nothing.
He's not being effective in games.
Yeah. And
he's not affecting the games in any way, shape, or form.
Gundogan has been bored this season. He's playing better now, but has been bored this season. And I think that's because you put Gundogan around old midfielders, and he can't do anything. Like, he's old himself. He needs some help there. He needs some energy.
He needs legs.
Yeah, he needs the legs.
Yeah, because Gundogan is about being smart, like, in terms of reading out the game. And I like the press conference where he said, at the beginning, at the first half of the season, we were thinking too much about the tactics rather than just be ourselves on the football pitch. We were playing as if we more positional rather than express ourselves, in terms of, like, the way he basically said the way we were setting up in games was like, okay, let's contain the opposition, let's be on the right, be in your position, rather than just playing with courage. And I feel like Gundo would be a very useful player if he had young players around him, players who will cover more ground for him, if that makes sense.
and to cover the ground effectively and still take the ball forwards. Because again, that's the argument. Why is Bernardo Silva playing? Oh, it's because he covers the ground. He does nothing on the ball, so it doesn't really matter. And he holds on to the ball, but we need more than that. And
Bernardo Silva plays because of the build-up. I feel like in certain aspect of the game, in terms of the build, let's say where he has to drop deep to help up on the build-up, especially when the team is struggling. If you look at the game when we played Chelsea at home, after Kusanov was having a nightmare, Bernardo Silva had to drop deep and playing like literally he was playing next to Akanji, and he was just telling Kusanov just relax, just chill. Do you know what I mean? So and he was helping the build up from the back line, but it will work in certain games.
Gonzalez can do that.
Yeah, it will work in certain games, especially when the opposition is pressing so high up the pitch. But when we're playing a lower block team, we don't really need you to drop deep, do we? Because we need numbers up front. We don't need numbers at the back because we're not getting pressed.
We've had that problem all season as well, players in the box. And now we've got, if you saw the Bournemouth and Crystal Palace game, both of them, like compare those two games to the 2 games before the international break, there's no bodies in the box. There's players actually going into the box. McAtee, he doesn't play well. Like his performances are very They're not terrible, they're not good, they're just meh. But he gets into the correct positions, he gets into the box, and that leads to him getting goals as well. And providing that, crossing the ball in, that led to the second goal against Bournemouth. So we are improving, but I look at what we are here, going into Everton. I look at what we are. Line up, not what I want to play.
My analysis on McAtee is he's very similar to Ilkay Gundogan when in his first 2-3 season at the football club, where we couldn't see much of him. He was really slow on the ball. However, he was getting to the box to score goals. He was getting a lot in the boxes to score goals, but his performance, we couldn't really understand what he was doing most of the time because we had David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne being our main 8 or main creative player, and we could see the magic happen with David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. But with Ilkay Gundogan, he couldn't see much of magic, but however, we could see goals in him. I think that's more similar to McAtee, if that makes sense. Someone who can arrive in the box.
I agree with that, but I don't think McAtee is good enough, by the way, for Man City.
For a squad player, I think he can.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be a squad player. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, that's up to him, isn't it?
Yeah, that's up to him. As a squad player, I would love him, but he doesn't want to be a squad player, which is the problem we have. That's why he wants to leave. So McAtee, I think he'll play against Everton probably. What I think we'll play is Matteus Nunes on right back again. And then we'll have probably Gvardiol Diaz again. And left back, probably O'Reilly again. Just the same back 4. Ederson, do you think you'll keep backing Ederson because he got that assist? Or will you look at Everton has some very physical players there. If we got a corner, they have physical players. You look at the Arsenal game, you look at the game against Crystal Palace where in corners, he doesn't command his box. Do you think that he'll play Ederson again? I actually think so, but I'm kind of hoping for Ortega.
Oh, it depends whether Ederson is fit or not, because he came off injured against Palace.
Yeah, but it was just knock, wasn't it? I think he will be fit.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he will be fit. So.
I think it depends how many training sessions he had. If we manage to have only 1 or 2, then Ortega will be in goal.
Yeah, probably. So Ortega, by the way, this season has also not been that great.
No, he hasn't been good.
People have been having this argument of Ortega or Ederson, but I don't think either have been good this season. He at least commands his box. In a corner, he at least commands his box a bit, which Ederson doesn't. My main concern playing against Everton is if they get a set piece, they will physically bully some of our players, and if they get a counter, one-on-ones, Ortega has been this season, but we know he can do one-on-ones occasionally. So against Everton, we'll try to press them in. Who do you think plays in that midfield? I mean, Nico Gonzalez has been dropped against Man United for no reason. He no reason that I could understand anyways. He's played now again. So you think Nico Gonzalez is playing there, or you think he's going to be dropped again?
I'll go with the same midfielder.
Exactly same midfield.
The same midfield three that we played against Palace.
Okay.
Let them play again together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why would you change? Kovacic was probably one of our best players on the pitch.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Kovacic, he can get a goal from distance, first of all, which when you play against a low block, sometimes that's what you need. But second of all, he gets the ball up the pitch. He doesn't lose it too much, unless you play against Real Madrid, then he does weird stuff. He feels a lot more safe in that 8 role. Like when he plays in the 6 this season, he's had some howlers, but in that 8 role, he feels a lot more comfortable. Just like Guardiola feels a lot more comfortable in the centre back than at left back. So I think if we have Kovacic, Nico Gonzalez again, I think we'll control the ball. But my main concern here is we will still have that problem on the far post, like we have had all season. Left wing, probably Marmoush again. Right wing, probably I would say probably McAtee again, but are we going to play De Bruyne false 9 again? Because De Bruyne, I mean, he didn't play the full game, but he played almost all of it. So how fit is De Bruyne? How much can De Bruyne play? That's also a question I'd actually like to know. Playing false 9, by the way, is difficult. Told me to wait. I'm guessing he will be right back. I'll just keep going, he will be right back. So De Bruyne playing in the false 9. The main issue I've had with this system, both against Man United and against Crystal Palace, is De Bruyne is not a false 9. Like he played there before, but he's too old for that role. What I want to see is De Bruyne go into maybe midfield, put someone else on the wing and play McAtee false 9, or maybe you can put De Bruyne left wing and then you have Marmoush in the striker role. But Marmoush played very well on the left wing, to his credit. There's a lot because if you look at Crystal Palace here, there's a lot that you can pick up. The lineup against Crystal Palace is not as bad as some people say, to be fair, as I've said, to be fair. The lineup is not that bad when you actually look at it back. But what is bad is how we just play with the ball, how we keep the ball. What was very good is after we go 2 goals down. In fact, we didn't start playing good after the second goal we went down. We started playing good after we scored that free kick. It's how direct we started playing. If we can play direct like that, we look good. We still look decent. Problem is, we can't really play direct like that at the moment. Especially against Everton. Everton is just going to sit deep, hold off, try to counter us. My concern is we're not really going to get much crosses off. And that's what we need. So McAtee, I think McAtee might be dropped with Savinho. So that Savinho can get those crosses off. Then the problem is Savinho can't finish.
The front three should be interesting, shouldn't it? I think Savinho will play.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether Doku will play though. But I think
I don't think he will, because you'd have to drop Marmoush.
I think he will bring Jack Grealish back in the team.
As a winger?
Yeah.
I don't think that, but that's giving me nightmares already. You know what it is though. Grealish.
Two things will happen. Either he will play. Savinho will definitely come back into the team.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's 60% chance that he will bring his beloved son back in the team, Bernardo Silva, and he will play him as the right winger. or he'll play Savinhas on the right wing, then he'll bring Jack Grealish in the left wing and Marmoush up front.
Drop De Bruyne.
No, De Bruyne will play. The midfield three remain the same.
But De Bruyne didn't play in midfield. He played as a false 9.
Who
Against
Was
Crystal Palace, he played as a false 9.
was in midfield? Was he? Then O'Reilly.
It was
No.
Kovacic, it was
Nico.
Gundogan, and Nico Gonzalez.
Oh,
That's the problem. That's what I was saying.
I think he will drop. He will drop Kovacic.
I think Kovacic, though. I think Kovacic works because you have a double pivot. Nico Gonzalez is not Rodri. Gundogan is not Rodri, but Kovacic is not Rodri. But when you have them both, you have that double pivot, which gives you security. That's why I think it works.
It does, and it helps the midfield. If you remember against Palace, yes,
Yeah.
we were getting a bit overrun for it in
Yes.
setting respect to that game, but then we would just remain really composed throughout the whole game. So yeah, I think he'll bring Savio, Marmoush, and De Bruyne as a front three, but I've also got the feeling that because we won 5-2 and his beloved son wasn't on the pitch. Last time we did that, it was against Forest, and he ended up putting Bernardo Silva back in the team the following game, and we dropped points. So he'll bring Bernardo Silva back in the team.
I mean, if Bernardo Silva comes back into the team, you'd expect it to be against like Wolves, who is the game after this. Gundogan false 9, God no. Jesus. What kind of suggestion is that? Bernardo Silva false 9. You can give him a go. Do you think Bernardo will play in midfield, or do you think he'll play in the wing? I think Bernardo will. I think if he puts Bernardo back in, it will be midfield. I think he'll drop Kovacic, put Bernardo in midfield. Yeah, it's that, isn't it? But that's what I think Pep will do, because Bernardo hasn't actually played on the wing that much this season. Like, he's played it a few times, but most of the season he's been in midfield.
Yep, I know. And we get the builder.
Yeah, go ahead. Who do we play against? Let me just check who we play against after Everton. Oh no, it's Aston Villa after Everton. Okay. But that Aston Villa game is tricky as well. You know what, yeah? If you beat Everton and Aston Villa, then I think I will have some confidence going into the FA Cup semi-final. Because Forest right now, I mean, they're dropping off. They're getting more and more inconsistent as we go through the season here. They actually lost their last 2 games. Oh wow. Yeah, they lost 1-0 against Everton, and they lost 2-1 against Forest. They won against Man United, of course. They drew 0-0 with Brighton team. Brighton is on flying right now. They won on penalties, of course, in the FA Cup. They beat Ipswich, but conceded twice to them. They drew Ipswich in the FA Cup, advanced on penalties there. I mean, they beat us 1-0. They drew Arsenal. Before that, they lost to Newcastle. They lost to Fulham. And then they drew Exeter City as well in the FA Cup. Has Forest drawn every game in the FA Cup? Yeah, they have. They beat Luton 2-0 in the FA Cup. For the rest, they've drawn every game.
Yeah.
You get it?
No. Go on.
Yeah, so Forest. We're looking a bit ahead here, yeah, but Forest has not played well in the FA Cup, if you actually dig it. If you actually look at it, they've not played well in the FA Cup. They've lost 2 games on the bounce now. They're going to play Tottenham before the... Oh wait, why do they only have 1 game?
Share the screen.
But yeah, let me share the screen, because what? Let me just share my complete screen. Yeah, latest set. Yeah, see? The day before the FA Cup game only have 1 game, and we have 2 games. And let me share the screen with the stream as well. Very cool. So we have 2 games before the FA Cup here, and they've got 1 game. What's that about? Oh, what is this? My rage bait tweets on Twitter got for 100k. Liverpool fans rattled. Oh, I need to check that out. I definitely need to check that out. 1 second, yeah. Where is the tweet? This. Oh dear. Poor Liverpool fans, they take everything too seriously, don't they? Come on, go enjoy your league title. That's the 1 league title in 5 years. And then they kind of wait another 5 years until they win another one. If they win another one. You're muted, by the way. Big up, Liam. Big up.
No.
Anyhow, to round up here, to round up on this stream. Predictions against Everton.
3-1.
3-1 to City?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who is scoring against Everton? and don't tell me Bernardo. Don't tell me Bernardo. Who is scoring? Nobody
Marmush to Vardio. 1.
I think it's going to be like nil. Guardiola can score, but I don't think he'll push up because he'll play centre back. He won't push up as much. Like when he plays left back, he can push up, he can cut in, he can shoot. This game, he'll be a bit further back in it. I think, I think it's going to be 0-0 or 1-1.
Nah.
No. Yeah, but
What-
the thing is,
when was the
nobody
last
on that pitch is scoring.
when was the last time we kept a clean sheet?
I actually don't know. Man United. It's also against Man United. There you go.
That was a boring game, was it? We went to that game. We went for the draw. Let's face it.
Yeah, which I don't understand that how we went for the draw against Man United, but oh well. Leicester City, we kept a clean sheet against them. And Tottenham before we played against Plymouth.
Yeah, it was 1-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 1-0.
Yeah.
And then Newcastle. We just randomly have some good games, by the way, like Newcastle 4-0. I mean, that's not really random. Midfield looks really sharp in that game. But, I don't think there's going to be lots of goals in that Everton game. I think it's just going to be very dry. We will see in it. Yeah, I'll go for the draw. I'm not going to be too distraught with that if we get a draw. I'd rather we win. But let's just see how the game goes, I think. Because I don't think that's the most important.
We get a draw and you're going to have a meltdown.
Nah, I won't. If we lose, I will have a meltdown. If we draw, honestly, I don't care about this game that much.
You said that. Wait until 15 minutes onto the game.
Until what?
You're gonna have a proper meltdown. You're calling Pepe out and everything.
But I've been Pep out since Feyenoord, so that's not saying much.
What? What did you say?
I've been Pep out since Feyenoord, so that's not saying much.
It's Feyenoord.
Yeah, I said this
What is
manager is...
3-3?
Yeah, after 3-3, I said this manager has lost it.
Leave Pep alone.
Pep Protection Agency here.
Huh?
Nothing. Pep Protection Agency.
Nah, I think he's allowed to have an off season. I think the players as well, they're allowed to have an off season. Listen.
Nah, but this is more than an off season.
Hmm?
This is more than an off season. This is terrible.
Well, it is an off season. We probably, let's say if we there's a high chance that we finish third. That's an off season.
Nah.
Listen, to go, yeah. Let's not kid ourselves. We won 4 Premier League titles in a row. To go 4 years, the last 4 years to go again, like there are certain games in like if you remember the treble season, from January all the way to May, we literally could not afford to drop any points, and we were still going. Even when Liverpool was chasing us, we were still going, winning games. There'll be a time where the players will feel knackered, and they're feeling knackered because it's hard. It's not hard. It's hard physically, but it's also hard mentally.
Yeah.
Especially where there were games where we were going 1-0 down, and it was like, fuck, we need to win this because Arsenal is on our neck.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's hard. We've been doing that for 4 years straight. 4.
Yes.
It's hard. It's hard. No one has ever done it. So for us to expect to do that,
Cruyff did it in the league.
No. For you to expect that, we have to do that on the 5th season as well, going for 5 titles in a row.
I wasn't expecting us to win 5 titles in a row. I mean, I predicted us, but if we finish second, that's different from being nowhere near. They're like 20 points behind.
Yeah, listen, it's not been a good season. Listen, there've been moments in the season where we've been left frustrated. Don't get me wrong, which is it's part of the football match. But what we also need to bear in mind is that this season it has been good for us in a way, not just for the players, not just for the manager, but also for the fan base. Because we were, if you remember, even when we went into that bad run, we were still thinking, in the second half of the season, we would turn up.
I didn't say that. I said that we won't have that second half of the season done with Pep, because I said Pep is looking lost. Which
is, we kind of struggled even the second half of the season. However, there's quite a lot of positives in terms of now we go into the new season and next season, and we know, right, we need to build a squad that has to be physically ready, and mentally ready as well, because we know that we need legs, we need dual winners, and we need presence in the attack apart from Erling Haaland. So if we had, for example, winning the league last season was kind of just paper over cracks because there's quite a lot of issues, and which led to us not addressing the problems in the summer. So not winning the league this season, we kind of like, okay, we fucked it up. So let's rectify that.
Yeah, but we shouldn't need to be fifth, and
but also
be fifth to realize
that. But also shows that the manager that, right, okay, I need to upgrade my tactics. I need to upgrade the way I set up, because what I was doing before, teams, not just the biggest teams, even lower teams, have figured out on how to beat us. So next season, right, I need to work on this, on that. If you look at the last few games, the last 10 games, it was just more. There's an interview Pep came out with Arnold. I think was it Hart? Was it? I think he done it on Sky, and he said the guy he was asked about the mistakes like from the players, and he said, "I've sat down with the players." I think he said the game before, the day before Arsenal, we played Arsenal at the Emirates. I sat down with the players, and I told the players, let's avoid any silly mistakes. Don't give the ball away too cheaply. Don't just do anything stupid. Then he said, we went into Arsenal. The very first minute, Akanji gave the ball away. And he was like, we literally sat down the day before we talked about that. And we went to that game, the very first, how many times this season, we're just giving the ball away for no reason.
Yeah, these players haven't been in it as well.
Yeah, so even if you look at the second half against Arsenal, we came out the half time, we scored the equaliser, and we were looking pretty good because Pep checked things. He literally changed the approach of the game, and he does that. So we were looking like, okay, we 1-0. Arsenal can't get out their own box. We're putting pressure on them. What happened the next minute? Phil Foden gave the ball away to Thomas Partey.
But that's the problem. These players, in the first half, we were not that bad, by the way, against Arsenal. I know we were a goal down. We weren't that bad in first half. In first 10 minutes, maybe, but the rest of
against Arsenal, yeah. Because he had the game plan on how to win that football match. But when you got a game plan and the first minute, your defender gave the ball away, well, lucky for us, that fucking Kai Havertz is garbage. But we came into the second half, we scored the equaliser straight away. I think it was at 54 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we were looking good.
Gave the ball away 56 minutes.
Phil Foden gives the ball away. Bear in mind that you're playing away against bigger team. The crowd, if they score the second goal, the crowd is going to be at it. And the way our heads being dropped every time we concede it, you're not helping us. You're not helping your teammates if you just keep giving the ball away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've had that with Kyle Walker. We've had that with Nunes, Kovacic. Listen, it's too many games. There is no... Even Bernardo Silva against Spurs. Bernardo Silva against... We were 1-0 up when he came on. Bernardo Silva came on in the last minute of the game. And he gave the ball away straight away. Spurs started on the counter, and Pep Guardiola just put his hand on his head. I was like, I've just put you on. Do you know what I mean? And you literally gave the ball away. So this is these sort of things is out of the manager's. He can't control that. However, what we can control is the way the team is set up. If we go into games and we just passing, not looking like scoring, then that's down to the manager.
But that has been a lot of games this season.
Yeah, it has been. But also has been a lot of games where we go and want the attacking players are going 1v1 against the goalkeeper and they're not putting the ball in the back of the net. Yeah. So if you don't score, you're going to concede because the opposition team is going to want to sit around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. But also, we kind of played with yourself for pretty much all season.
Yeah. Listen,
it's not just play.
No. The blame is on everyone. Is the board? Is the players? Is the manager? And
the board is at fault for a lot of things. But I will say one thing: the board offered Pep Guardiola money in the summer and decided to spend.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. Pep takes the majority of the blame. 60% is on him. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
30% is on the players and 10% is on the board.
Yeah, that's fair.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, he the manager gets most of the blame because at the end of the day, we've been to games where we're not being really effective. So that's on you. Team selection is on you. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to back you. I'm going to support you. But when I see shit on the football pitch, I have to call it out. Team selection, keep playing the same players that are not delivering. That's on you.
telling
because
us O'Reilly could play for Lottery and then he didn't play midfield once.
Yeah, that's on you. But missing easy chances, giving the ball away, and not being in your position defensively, looking all over the place, right? That's on the players.
Yeah,
because if you remember,
here's the thing here. In the bottom of the game, where we missed all those chances, I said Pep has done really well and the players are fucking it up. And then in the second half, when he made that substitution, I thought it was a weird substitution with O'Reilly. I said, this is weird by Pep, but he ended up being very useful, O'Reilly, and I said, Pep has cooked, I'm going here. The Crystal Palace game is incredibly difficult because we were just, first 20 minutes, we did nothing in the first 20 minutes. We got two chances, sorry. I also forgot about Marmoush's chance. We had the chance with McAtee and the chance with Marmoush. Both of them were like lattice in the defense from Crystal Palace.
The James McAtee, they were still 0-0. The Marmoush, we were 1-0 down.
Yeah.
So you're a professional footballer, them two chances, they need to be in the back of the net.
One of them needs to be scored. Exactly. You can always miss a chance like this. You can always miss a chance. But when you have two chances like that, at least one of them needs to be scored.
One of them needs to go. It needs to be a goal. There's no excuses on that. Come on.
I agree. But then immediately after that,
let's go back to the Sporting game in Lisbon. Yeah, Vardy gave you the ball away, then he gave you the penalty straight away. Nunes done the same. Give the ball away, then a penalty.
Even before that, how many chances did we miss against Sporting? Because we missed quite a few.
Oh, they missed. I think it's Haaland missed quite a few.
I think Haaland missed two chances that game. He scored another.
He missed an easy header too. He should have scored that.
Yeah.
Wrong. But if you've seen your teammate on the other side making the one mistake, you can't be copying that same mistake.
Yeah.
It'll be done in here. So it's been a roller coaster of the season, but I was a bit upset at the beginning, like with Pep. But now I'm just more relaxed. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, let's see out the season and see how we do.
Yeah, I still think that, listen, Pep Guardiola, he's here till 2027. If he's going to be here for 2 more years, why give him a rebuild? Because if you give him a rebuild now, by the way, next manager that comes in, you're going to spend another 500 million for his players? Well, no, you're not. So, if we're going to go into rebuild anyways, I'd rather have a new manager. Unless Pep Guardiola signs another 5 years, but then I want to see, hey, next season, Pep, can you stop making these same mistakes? And
we cannot really do that because at the end of the day, this is still a football club. The football club is run like a business. If you remember, even during Pellegrini's last season, we knew he was going, but we were still buying players.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you can buy players, but
no. You're buying players to fulfill the objectives that you set for that season.
Yeah,
he's not thinking about 2 years. In 2 years or 3 years, the objective is still in there because
you need long-term players. You need long-term.
No. I get it. Long term, that's where you're buying certain players within certain age. However, you just don't say, "Oh, we're not buying players because we're not gonna get a new manager in 2 years." That's not how it works because you're saying that, if Pep is staying here for another 2 years, let's give the money for the rebuild to another manager. Yeah, but we cannot. We have to go into next season thinking that we have to win that league title, and you cannot say we have to win that league title with the players that we have.
But I'm not saying that we have to win the league title next season.
Yeah, but we cannot go into the next season win the league title with the players that we have.
Yeah, absolutely can't. But what I'm saying is, Pep out, get a new manager in. Simone Inzaghi won't be available for very long. I think Simone Inzaghi is leaving Inter soon, and I want Simone Inzaghi desperately. So if we want to get,
we can't really sack the manager because at the end of the day, if we were to sack him, we would have sacked him before offering him a new deal. Because we offered him a new deal when we were We won one game in 13.
Yes.
Well, I don't think we would sack him right now.
No, that's not. He won't get sacked. He won't. But I'm not talking about what will happen. I'm talking about what I want to happen. It's different, isn't it? But I think, by the way, if we had sacked him earlier in the season, again, different conversation, we could have still restored this season. Which now it's too late. He won't get sacked. What I want to see in the end of the season here is games like Bournemouth. Well, not by the players, but by the manager, where the manager makes an impact as a manager does well, sets up well, and the team looks sharp, tactically speaking. That's what I want to see until the end of the season, to have some hope for the next season that we will see more from Pep's positives. But Pep in the fourth-beat season did not look very sharp. This season did not look very sharp. It's not the first off-season by Pep, but now the players are having an off-season as well. And now we're just in the position where we are at. Pep Guardiola.
Well, he's changing. He's changing his tactics. He's changing the way we're approaching games. Even our press, the way we're pressing, it has changed. We're not pressing. We're not going man to man anymore. We drop a couple of yards back and trying to win the ball in midfield rather than winning the ball in the opposition half. So that's one thing he's changing at. So there's been a change, slightly. Obviously, the change won't be seen like in a grand scale things, because we need proper players. Because in order to be a very dominant team, we need players with physical attributes in that team, especially in the midfield, which we currently haven't got. Because if you go into with a midfield of Bernardo Silva, Gundo, or even Kevin De Bruyne, that's not very physical. It looks very technical. It is very technical midfield, but it's not physical.
Yeah. So don't play that midfield.
Yeah, exactly.
There's more physical options out there to play, such as Nico Gonzalez, Kovacic.
Yes, exactly. At the end of the day, I get it, but there is also a spectrum in terms of there are certain players that they will have to play ahead of players like Nico Gonzalez. For example, players like Bernardo Silva, Foden, these players that are on a massive high wages, they tend to play more games than the guys on, because obviously they treat some players as a squad player, or as they like regular starters or important players, so they tend to play more. It's like if you've got a dilemma between Haaland and Marmoush, Haaland will always play more games than Marmoush.
Yeah.
It's
not a dilemma though, because Marmoush goes on to the wing.
Yeah. Marmoush can go into 5 games scoring 2 goals from every single game. But when Haaland comes back, Haaland's straight in the team.
Yeah.
Because his contract says so. So
absolutely. But there's a difference between that and between Bernardo Silva.
Yes, but also when you've worked with a group of players that at the second half of the season, they always seem to turn up when they mean business, and you as a manager, the last 4 seasons, you as a manager in the second half, especially in the second half of the season, you could just sat in there and the players just go on the pitch like, okay, we'll win this game. So
that doesn't happen.
No. Listen, that's the thing. You as a manager, it's like your friends you've been friends with for a long time. You would trust them more to get a certain job done than the new ones. It's not about being it's just a human thing. But that's where he's been making a lot of mistakes, because at the end of the day, some of these players they can't do that. They can't deliver anymore. But I think he realizes that now. That's why he's trying to mix it up with a bit more youth in the team with the old guys. If you look at the first half of the season, it was just a bunch of old guys on the pitch.
Yeah.
Now he's changing quite a lot. He's bring youth now. If you look, I think there was a game where our average age was 25, which is pretty good. There were games where the average age was like fucking 30.
The average age of our midfield, I believe, is 33.
For against who?
When we were playing like Bernardo Silva, De
Bruyne, So even during his press conference, he was mentioned as well. There were games where the average age of the 11, the starting 11 was like 20, 29, 30, 31. But now, if you compare the last 10 games, the average age has dropped slightly to 25. So, but it will take time. However, when we go into this market, the summer market, we need to bring red-made player to someone like there needs to be a couple of players that are red-made, they're ready to start. Or because we cannot just bring a lot of experience and they say, right, let's give them time. We haven't got the time. We haven't got a season. We're already giving you the time this season. We as a fans, we're letting you off this season. We're criticizing you for your performance, but at the end of the day, we sympathize with issues that we're currently facing.
And we can sympathize and also understand that it needs to fix up.
Yeah, we also having a bit of understanding. Of course, we're going to be mourning, we're going to be stressed, we're going to be like complaining, but it's just a normal feeling for being a football fan.
Yeah.
Or the next day we'll wake up and say, right, okay, we need to change this and this. This is your off season. Next season, there's not going to be an off season. Next season, from where we have to start on it.
And but that's my problem. That's my problem. If you tell me right now, Pep Guardiola next season will be good again. We will finish second. Tell me right now, we will finish second next season. We won't win any trophies, but we will look improved. We will look very good next season. I will say, okay, because then we're improving again, and then we can talk about winning league titles the season after that. Problem is, I don't think that's what's happening next season. I think next season.
I think it will.
Yeah, but that's where we disagree. If I agreed with you that we are going to improve again next season with Pep, I would keep Pep. But I don't think we will. I think Pep is just mentally, because we talk about mentally, Pep is tired as well. Mentally he's tired as well. And sometimes you see managers take a break. And then they come back and they're incredible again. Luis Enrique. Sometimes a manager needs a break. And I think Pep needs a break.
Yeah. Listen, I agree. I agree. But it will be more down on the players next season rather than the manager. I feel like the players will go into because the core of the team is pretty much there. When people talk about rebuild, we are. I think we are 3 to 5 players away to building
It depends on how many players leave.
To build a very different side. We need to bring a competent goalkeeper in, right back and the left back. Yeah. We need to bring maybe a couple of midfielders in there.
One midfielder, I think, because O'Reilly is already there.
Yeah, what I would say, one creative midfielder and one more attacking option. That's 5. Because the core of the team is there. You've got your Vardios, you've got your Diaz, Akanji, and then if you add in the left back and the centre back and the left back and the right back, you still got Reyes and Kusanov. Then you've got your Rodri in there. You've got your Nico Riley. Then in the attack you've got Nico Gonzalez. Then you've got O'Reilly. Then you've got on the attack you've got your main mans Haaland, Marmoush, and Savio. And I feel like Savio will improve his finish next season. Because Savio is a very, very good player. It's just when he gets in front of the goal, he just gets a place. Yeah, and I think he will work on that. And I feel like with addition of Fernandinho in the backroom staff, it will help a lot of players. So I feel if he change, let's say if we have good transfer window and the backroom staff changes slightly in terms of bring a new goalkeeping coach, bring a new set piece coach, bring a new number 2, Pep won't have that much pressure on him, because at the moment it feels like he's doing everything by himself. Our set piece is not good.
Yeah.
His number 2 is just sat in there and
just nodding his head, saying, "I agree."
Because his number 2 doesn't speak English. We also on the documentary where when I think Pep was suspended or something like that, but he wasn't on the sideline. He was literally giving the team talking Spanish, and everyone was just looking at him. This wasn't number 2. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Do you know what I mean?
Everyone's looking at Scotty like, what is he saying?
We need a number 2 in that. And
Fernandinho is coming, by the way.
We're ready to go. You need to remember that players like Erling Haaland, Rodri, Diaz, Vardy, and even Foden to some extent, they won't go into next season approaching out, right, we need to win this league title again, because it's the mentality is in there already. That's why we need to bring a couple of more experience where they will lead the young lads. Do you know what I mean? And I think we'll be fine next season. I think we'll win the title, and I feel like
I never say who's going to win the league title until after the window. I like watching.
My main concern is more towards the Club World Cup. I just feel like if
do you care about that?
Yeah, I feel like if we didn't get the Club World Cup, it would be a summer where we would sort out the whole squad. Everyone would just go on holiday. The manager would go on holiday, play some golf, and when coming back for pre-season, everyone is fresh and let's go again.
Yeah.
But with the Club World Cup, 3 weeks after the season ends, it doesn't really help much, if that makes sense. But we'll see.
But you can sign players before the window.
No. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
We can have auto signings done by the time the Club World Cup is done, and then.
Big up Luke is in the chat. Big up Luke, man.
Big up to who? Luke. Yeah, big up to him. You can have all the signings done, but here's the thing here. Manager, there will be pressure away from Pep. He's still the manager. At the end of the day, he is still the guy. When we lose, he's in the press conferences talking to the media. When we have a big game, he's the one making decisions. He's the one making substitutions. So there will be pressure.
His substitution has been really poor.
Yeah.
In the first half of the season, it was almost like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
It was giving me seizures.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't think he had much on the bench to work with. Because if you remember the past 2 seasons, where even if we need the goal, he could have changed. He could have get Alvarez on the pitch, Mahrez on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? Alvarez and Mahrez combined, that's 40 goals a season, plus the assist.
Yeah.
That's a lot of input. But now, even if we need the goal, is Doku gonna be scoring?
Nah.
Is Grealish going to be scoring?
No, but he's a midfielder. That also
he has been a really poor recruitment, don't get me wrong, but that's where the club is kind of to blame as well, where we missed out on the targets that we want because we couldn't pay the extra 10 mil, and now we're paying the price.
I agree with that part, but I still think there's a lot of pressure on Pep. So regardless of what you change, there will always be a lot of pressure on your manager. But
yeah, of course. But you also need to put a bit of perspective in there. You need to be also add a bit of context as well. You can't just put everything on the manager. It's because you want the manager to go doesn't mean they're just not respecting what or understanding what he's trying to do.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyhow, nobody is live. Nobody is everyone would work great. I did an earlier stream today as well. Nobody was live. But anyhow, rounding up, anything else you want to say, Matteus?
No, we're all good. We're gonna watch Barcelona, PSG.
Yeah, chill. Thank you for coming on again, Matteus.
No worries, bro.
Always nice to talk with you. Thank you to everyone who was in
Pleasure,
today.
man.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.